China's human rights record has been a subject of international concern and scrutiny for decades. The Chinese government's approach to human rights has been criticized on various fronts. As the spotlight intensifies on China's human rights record, activists from diverse backgrounds are joining forces to condemn Beijing's repressive policies. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the recent developments and the urgent calls for international action on this pressing issue. We have a report. The situation of Uyghur persecution in China is deeply concerning and has drawn international attention. The Uyghurs are a predominantly Muslim ethnic minority group primarily located in the Xinjiang region of China. Reports and testimonies from various sources, including human rights organizations, indicate widespread human rights abuses and repression targeting the Uyghur population. Moreover, the situation in Tibet, particularly regarding human rights and autonomy, has been a long-standing concern. Since China's annexation of Tibet in 1950, there have been allegations of oppression, suppression of Tibetan culture and religion, and restrictions on freedom of speech and movement. At the 2024 Geneva Summit for Human Rights and Democracy, held on May 15th, Uyghurs, Tibetans, and Chinese political prisoners vehemently condemned Beijing's repressive policies. They highlighted the plight of the Muslim minority in Xinjiang, alleging that as many as 3 million people have been detained in camps, with women being subjected to forced sterilization. These systematic sterilization practices were characterized as constituting genocide.
The people who are arrested in the camp, like now up to 3 million people arrested in the camp, and they sterilize those ladies, sterilized. And I have met a lady. She came to Pakistan in 2008, and because of her husband is Pakistani, and I interviewed her in 2019, and she said that after released the camp, she couldn't have a baby. She has to go to the doctor, but the doctor said you couldn't have a baby in 3 years at least. It means that those people who arrested in the camp and they couldn't have a baby after all. Systematically sterilization, it is the kind of genocide. And this is a genocide because of people transferred from their original culture, and this is a genocide because of the kids separated from their family members. This is a genocide because those Uyghur ladies systematically sterilized.
At the summit, the activists were united in urging the international action to put an end to China's violations of human rights against the Uyghurs and Tibetan communities.
Tell my friend what happened to me.
A 27-year-old Chinese descendant and advocate for human rights shared her distressing account of being detained. She criticized China's treatment of Uyghur and Tibetan populations, characterizing Xinjiang as the largest open prison globally and condemning the widespread censorship prevalent throughout the country.
China is really doing devastating human rights records in the world, and they are treating Uyghurs and Tibetans really like animals, and the world is turning its eye away from what's happening in China. Because in Xinjiang, all the Uyghurs are living in the open prison, and it's almost like the most biggest prison in the world, and people are not knowing it. And elsewhere in China, the censorship is we have the most strongest censorship machine in the world.
Another human rights activist of Tibetan Canadian descent underscored the one-sided nature of Chinese documents concerning Tibet, asserting that they consistently represent the viewpoint of the oppressor.
There was a petition signed by
She highlights the lack of representation of Tibetan voices and perspectives in official narratives.
Any Chinese document that comes out on Tibetan people, you must understand that there's two sides, the oppressor and the oppressed. If the oppressor is talking about the oppressed and making up documents, no matter what, whether it's about the freedom movement, whether it's about His Holiness the Dalai Lama, whether it's about border issues with India or wherever else, you know that it's coming from the oppressor's side, so that is going to be what? Lies. Nothing but lies that are spewed out by the Chinese government and also by Xi Jinping, no matter where he goes, including Europe that he was recently at.
The testimonies and accounts shared at the 2024 Geneva Summit for Human Rights and Democracy shed light on the dire situations faced by the Uyghur and Tibetan communities in China. The widespread human rights abuses, including allegations of detention camps, forced sterilization, cultural suppression and censorship, underscore the urgent need for international action to address these violations. It is imperative for the international community to stand in solidarity with these oppressed groups and work towards ending the repressive policies of the Chinese government.